Ma'am, you can start.
Okay, good morning to one and all present here for this introductory session on software testing. So I'm Professor Pankaja Patil, willing to handle this subject, software testing, which is one of my favorite subject as well. So let's see the contents of this particular course. There are 5 units. The first unit is introduction to software engineering. So software engineering, software testing are two different courses which are introduced in our computer science department. But as part of the software testing, as an open elective for you people, we have introduced software engineering as a first unit, the introduction to software engineering as a first unit, where you are going to study about the basics of software engineering, some of the terminologies associated with software engineering, the process models, and so on. Right? From unit 2 onwards, it is a software testing which you are going to learn. So, software engineering is a prerequisite to software testing. That's why unit 1 is the introduction of the software engineering. So, later on, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, and unit 5, you are going to study all about software testing. So let's see the content of these units one by one. So unit 1, introduction to software engineering. So here you are going to study these 3 points. The first point is basics of software engineering. So here you are going to study professional software development, how to develop the software by using the professional method. Then software engineering diversity, software engineering ethics. So what are the different ethics you need to follow so as to so as to develop any software. So this is the basic of software engineering. The second point is software process models. So as to develop a software, you need to follow some of the steps. So those steps are starting from requirement collection from the customer. Then second step will be you need to prepare the software requirement specification document in which you are going to record all the requirement of the customer. The third one is you need to do the software design by using high level design, also by using low level design. So there are different design techniques available. So you need to design the software. After designing software, the fourth step is you need to make use of any of the programming language which is suitable for that problem and code the problem, or else you can say the you need to prepare the coding for whatever the design you have done at step 3. Then fifth point, you need to test the software. So after programming, whatever the code you have written, you need to test it by using different methods. So different software testing techniques are available. So make use of those techniques and check whether your software is performing well or not, whether it is satisfying customer requirements or not. You can check with respect to the quality of the software, and there are different parameters with respect to what you are going to perform the testing. So that is a sixth step of software product development. Seventh one is you need to implement it. So you need to put it in the work and check whether really it is performing well or not. So these are the different steps you need to follow, starting from requirement collection, preparing software specification document. Then you need to design the software. You need to code the. You need to write a code by using the appropriate programming language. After that, the software testing comes. Actually, software testing is fifth step in the software development phase. So your basic study, you're basically going to study about the software testing from unit 2 to unit 4. But so as to study those, that's software testing, you need software engineering introduction part. That's why in unit 1, we have introduced software engineering basics and the introduction to the software engineering, where you are going to study the process model. So whatever the phases we have discussed here, all steps we have discussed here, for that there are different models. Those models will give you the idea about how the software is developed by using different models. So there are different models here which are listed. The first one is waterfall model. Second one is incremental development model. Third one is prototyping model. Fourth one is incremental delivery model, and fifth one is Boehm's spiral model. So these are the different models present. There are totally four models here. Two models we are going to have a discussion on these two in the regular class, and two models we have introduced as part of the self-learning topic here at the end. So, uh, two models, waterfall model, increment models, are to be discussed as part of software process models. Then process activities. You need to carry on these activities so as to develop software. So in detail, we are going to study about how to specify the requirements when collected from the user, then how to design the software, what language to be used so as to implement the design, and at the end, so evaluation will be done here. You need to check whether the software is performing uh, and satisfying user requirement or not, whether it is working properly or not, that you are going to check. So at this particular phase, so this is software validation activity, which is the last activity of the software testing. So this is the content of unit 1. Then in unit 2, you are going to study about software testing basics, right? So here you are going to study basic definitions. Then you are going to study what is the test case, why to test a software, what are the different parameters on which you are testing a software, then what are the different methods you are using to test a software, what is a test case table, what is a test case format available. So those things will be discussed here as part of unit 2. And here you are going to study Venn diagram, which represents what are the things which are specified, implemented, tested, and put it in the work. So those you are going to study. You are going to draw Venn diagram so as to indicate whether all the requirements which are specified in the beginning are satisfied or not. And you're going to study about how to identify test case. If at all I want to write a test case table for a particular code which I have written, then what are the how to identify the test cases, how many test cases I need to write, what are the different test cases I need to consider, right? That you're going to study as part of unit 2. Then what are the different errors you are going to encounter while testing the software, right? So that you're going to study here as part of the error and fault taxonomy. So there are syntactical errors, semantical errors, logical errors. So if you find such type of the errors, right, how to handle those errors and how to write a test case table so as to uh, uh, test those that particular software against each of the error generated. So that you're going to study here. Then different levels of testing. You can test the software at the unit level, you can test the software at the integration level and at the system level. So unit level means there are individual modules you have developed for the project. Those modules you can test individually. So that is called as unit level testing. Integrated testing means you are going to combine two or more modules and you are going to test together. That is called as integration testing. And at the end, it is system testing where system consists of all the integrated modules which are working together. And at the last level, you are going to check whether your system is performing according to the requirement or not. So that is called those are the three steps or three levels of testing, and that you are going to study here. You're going to study how to write a test case for a specific problem given here. So throughout this course, we are going to study only three examples. One is triangle problem, second one is commission problem, and third one is next date problem. So given today's date, how the system will display the tomorrow's date. So there are different constraints involved so as to print that date, and even you are going to write different test cases with respect to the months which are present in a year. So that you're going to study. So with respect to these three examples, triangle problem, given three sides of a triangle, you're going to find out what type of the triangle it is, whether it is a isosceles triangle or equilateral or scalene triangle. So that you're going to find out, and you're going to study about how you're going to write a test case so as to test whatever the program you have written with respect to triangle is performing and giving correct result or not. Even you are going to write, you are going to study the commission problem, and you are going to write a test case table to exercise this commission problem, right? So unit 2 is totally the introduction on the software testing, and here you are going to write test case table for triangle problem, commission problem. Then you're going to study unit 3, which is boundary value analysis. If you want to test any software, you need to decide upon the boundary, right? For example, if it is a grade calculation, right, the boundary values will be 0 and 100. So students are going to obtain a minimum 0 marks and maximum 100 marks. So how to set a boundary for each of the problem given, and how to carry on the analysis, because most of the time it is said that the software will fail on the boundaries. So that's why boundary value analysis is very important concept in software testing. So given any problem, you need to find the values which are lying on the boundary, and you need to write a test cases so as to exercise that software, and find out whether it is working perfectly with the boundary values given or not. So that you're going to study here. So boundary value analysis is one of the chapter in software testing, in which you're going to study how to write a test case table by considering boundary values for the uh, different examples given. So three examples mainly we are covering here: commission problem, triangle problem, and printing the next date problem. So by taking those examples only, we'll study how to carry on this boundary value analysis and write a test case table. Then you're going to study about there are different testing methods available, right? So boundary value analysis testing is one method. Next one is robustness testing, how robust your software is. So robustness testing is to be carried out. Then worst case testing, special value testing. So these are the different testing methods available, and we are going to study these testing methods under boundary value analysis with respect to those three examples. Then unit 4 is equivalence class testing, and also decision table based testing. So these are the two different chapters in software testing. So here you are going to study what are the different classes available in the problem given. For example, if you take the student grading itself, so there is a S grade, S plus, A grade, B grade, C grade, failed grade. So those are the different classes available. So we need to write a test case with respect to each of the class. So given any problem, you need to find out whether it belongs to the equivalence class testing or boundary value analysis testing. So grading example consists of both the testings, because we need to fix the boundary values. 0 and 100 are the boundary values. We need to carry on the test against those boundary values, as well as we need to write equivalence class testing uh, test case table. So both the concepts are applicable if you consider the testing for grading application. Right. Next, we are going to study about decision table based testing. So these are the two different concepts which um, will help you in testing the software. So equivalence class testing. The last one is decision table testing. So here you are going to study about how to write a test case table by using decision table based testing. So there are some decisions to be taken in the problem, and you need to fire some actions against each of the decision. So this decision table consists of two parts in it. The first one is condition part, second one is action part. So if the condition is satisfied, what action is to be carried out, that is to be written as part of the table. So that is called as decision based table testing, decision table based testing. So here decision is to be made and an action is to be taken in one program. How many such decisions you are going to do, and what are the different actions you are going to take, so that is to be recorded, and that is called as decision table based testing. And there is a self study component here. Here you are going to study about how to write a decision table for the commission problem, and here how to write a test case table for triangle problem by using decision table based testing. So that is to be introduced. Then the last unit is fifth unit, and it covers path testing and data flow testing. So, if you write a program or else if you write a flow chart for grading problem, so it will have 3 to 4 paths. So how you are going to test each and every path? A path which leads towards S grade, a path which leads towards S plus, a path which leads towards A grade, B grade, and so on. So different paths are available in the program written. How you are going to test each and every path, and you are going to say that each and every option is working correctly, also each and every that is a decision is performing properly, so that you are going to find out by using path testing. So here you are going to study decision table based path testing. Then there are some metrics which are used to measure the performance of your program, so those are called as metric based testing that you are going to study here. Then basis path testing. So MAC-based basis path testing is one of the famous testing method available, and by using that, you're going to find out the cyclometric complexity of a given graph. So there is a graph which shows different paths available in the program, and by using those paths, you're going to find out the cyclometric complexity of a given graph, which tells how many independent paths are available. So in the logic, whenever you write a logic, one logic might be dependent on the another logic. So if there is a logic which is totally independently written, not depending on any previous logics written, then that is called as independent logic, and for that independent paths you are going to find out. So mac based basis path method is used to find out the independent logic paths from start of the program till end of the program, and it will help you to write a test case table. So one will be having a question in mind that how to decide upon what are the different cases to be included in the test case table. So suddenly given one program, if somebody asks you to write a test case table, then it's very difficult. But Mac based basis path method will help you in finding the different that is parameters on which you need to establish a test case table for any problem given. So that basis path method you're going to study here, and you're going to study about some of the guidelines and observations with respect to the concept. Then there is a self-learning topic, by using different that is problems. You are going to apply Mac-based basis path method and are going to find out independent paths in a given graph or else in a given flow chart, right? So these are the 5 units present in the software testing. Basically, software testing open elective covers in unit 1 software engineering basics. Unit 2, 3, 4, 5 are the topics related to software testing, right? And these are the contents. Here we have 3 textbooks: software engineering, um, which covers unit 1, and software testing by Paul Jorgensen covers unit 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? Unit 1 is covered in first book, remaining 4 units are covered in second book. So these are the textbooks we are going to use, and there are some reference books which are mentioned in the syllabus. Even you can make use of those books. So now I have done with the introductory class of software testing. So if you have any doubts, uh, you can ask. Otherwise, I've done with the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, you can stop your presentation. I hope the students have understood. We'll
Okay, sir. Thank you.
proceed with the next slide or next person presentation. We'll start in a minute.
Okay, I'm going to leave now.
त्याला मला PPT प्रेझेंट करा. Good morning, dear students. I am Professor Aarti Shapurkar from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and I am willing to opt open elective subject that is called as Big Data and Hadoop. And the subject code of the subject is 18 CS 764. It's an open elective subject. So in this you are going to study, the title itself says is Big Data and Hadoop. So in this we are going to study what is big data, what is Hadoop, and what are the different advantages of big data and what are the applications of the big data. So let us first understand what is big data. So you all are using your Twitter, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, right? And you all are doing a lot of texting, you're uploading the photos, downloading the videos, all those things are you're doing in real world era, today's era. So what is happening with that is you are generating a data. Okay, so that data which is generating at a faster rate, and also it is in the huge volume. So you know what is megabyte, kilobyte, petabyte, and right, those bytes you all know. But now we are talking the data in terms of the data which is getting generated is very huge, and we are now talking the data in terms of petabyte, zettabyte, and yottabyte. You might have not heard about these these units to measure the data, right? You might have heard only megabyte or terabyte. You might have heard TBs, right? So now what has happened is, because of these, the data is getting generated in a huge volume. Now it is called as big data. Now this big data has to be processed and it has to be stored. So it is a very huge volume of data. That is why it is called as big data. So where it can be stored? Now it can't be stored with your traditional database. Like we have studied database management system, your SQL and all. So using that, it can't be stored because it is in the huge volume. So how it is stored and how it is processed is using your Hadoop. So Hadoop is a tool which is used to store this big data which is large in volume and which can be processed and managed. So that is why we are going to use a tool which is called as Hadoop. And what are the advantages of this big data is, this is a greater advantage of the big data is the intelligent in the business. So business is going to be a very intelligent business. Now we all do your lot of online transactions and all. So whenever you order any product, the similar or related to that product, you get some advertisement. So how it is possible? That is possible because of the big data analytics. So the business people are analyzing your data, and based on that data they are getting the business more effective, or you can say efficient business they can do. So that is the biggest advantage of the big data. Okay, so if you study big data, what can be the advantage in your career? So you can become a data analyst, you can become a data developer, or you can become a data scientist or a data administrator. So what are these different roles of these people? You will study in detail in your syllabus. So data analyst will analyze the data. Data developer is an engineer who will design, develop, or create the data. And data scientist will analyze the data, he'll collect the data, he'll clean the data. And administrator is a person who is going to manage or upgrade or manage the workload of the data. So you can become one of these top big data profiles if you have skills in this big data subjects. Okay, and this is about the syllabus. So unit 1 consisting of understanding the big data. So what is big data, what are the advantages, what are the applications of big data, all these things you will understand in the first unit. In the second unit, you are going to study the history of the Hadoop. So you should know what is this tool that called as Hadoop. You will be studying everything about Hadoop in the unit 2. Then there are some different tools which are used in this Hadoop, like you have a pig, you have a MapReduce, you have different tools are there. So that you are going to study, and those applications of that you are going to study in the unit 3. Unit 4 is understanding of MapReduce. Sorry, that has just come as MapRay, that is MapReduce. So what is this MapReduce is? It is a programming or a processing tool which is used for the big data. So that you will be understanding in the unit 4, and in unit 5 you are going to understand the pig. So pig is also one of the tool which is used for processing and managing the big data. So these are the 5 units you are going to study. It is very simple subject and very interesting subject to make a career. Already the computer science students are studying this subject in their 6 semesters, and for you it is an open elective subject. So that's it about this. This is a brief introduction about the big data and Hadoop subject. Thank you, students.
Good morning, students. My name is Professor Veena Kangralkar, from Assistant Professor, CSE Department. I'm willing to opt the web programming subject, and it is an open elective for you all. That is for the non-circuit branches. Okay. Now, now when you hear this subject name, web programming, I'm sure you know some knowledge about it, or I can say you have sound knowledge about this. Why am I saying you have sound knowledge? Because till now you might have till now you might have seen websites, you might have gone through the websites, you might have enrolled yourself through a website to some course, right? Okay, so that's why I'm telling you have sound knowledge about this, because everything what you see, okay, is going to help you learning this subject. Okay, because you are going to make that through this subject. All right, so let's start with the introduction. Okay, so internet has become the number one source to information. I don't have to tell you this, you know this, right? It all started with the internet in the 1960s and the World Wide Web in 1991. The first web browser was Netscape. You can just Google later and check how it was earlier and how the evolution of web browsers have been from that time to this time. So it came in 1994, and as I told you, this was the beginning of new era. All right. Now, in this picture, you can see JavaScript, you can see header, HTML, PHP, code, C++, CSS. Okay, so you must not be knowing about this, but through the subject, you're going to learn all these things which are going to help you to become at least a basic learner, or you can say basic developer of these web pages. All right. Now, you can see this triangle here where you have HTML written. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay. And then you have CSS, that is for your cascading style sheets, and then you have JavaScript. Now you can see all these three are connected to each other, right? So I'm going to give you a brief information about this, because in detail we are going to learn in the subject. So HTML, basically, whenever you see a website, right, when you open it, you see you have content on that page. Yes or no? So that content is delivered to you by hypertext markup language, HTML. Okay. Now you can see the few websites, they are beautifully designed, very eye pleasing. Some are very basic, right? So the beautification, the eye pleasing, visuals that you see in the web pages or a website is through CSS, okay, the styling thing. And then when you open the website, when you click on a button, the button will take you to another page, right? Some activities happening, some functionality is taking place, that happens through your JavaScript. So you can see all three of them are interconnected. That's why we always mention HTML, CSS, JavaScript together, okay? So all these three are like the pioneers for your web programming subject. Now, all right. These are some of the stats, okay, that I'll come back later, okay, once we discuss the subject syllabus of the subject. Okay, I hope you might have got idea about web programming, what we are going to learn. So you're going to learn to design different web pages, okay, how it could be interactive, how it could be dynamic, okay, all that we'll be learning through this subject, okay. It's a very, what I can say, it's a core subject for all of you to have a career into this. Why am I saying? Because students, this is an evergreen line. Okay, because you are going to have web pages, you are going to have websites. That's never going to go. Okay, and if you're going to have a hand on it, then you'll be obviously on a heavier. Your resume has a good substance present there. All right. So now let's discuss onto the syllabus. Web programming is the name of the subject, and 18 CS 762 is the code. And let's look at the objectives. Objective is to understand HTML and design the web pages, definitely. To utilize JavaScript for interactive pages on the client side, and to understand the server-side programming and that can be deployed on any devices. Okay. Now, prerequisite for the subject is computer concepts and C programming. You might have learned this in your first year. Of course, if you don't remember, that's completely fine. You're not going to require all that. Okay. And then database management systems. Okay, web programming we are learning. So okay, don't worry about that. Okay, so now in your unit 1 you'll be having fundamentals of web and XHTML. XHTML is nothing but the extensible version of HTML. So where we'll be learning, what are the different web programs, toolbox, the basic syntax, the standard structure, hypertext links, all these things. Then next unit is CSS. Okay, I told you about cascading style sheets, right? So you'll be learning about how do you make beautified versions of your websites. All that you'll be learning. So different tags, different properties, how you can get different colors, alignments, background images, all those things. Then unit 3 comes your JavaScript, which is like the main person here. So overview of JavaScript, object orientation and JavaScript, syntactic characteristics, the operations, expressions, screen output and keyboard input, control statements, object creation, modification, arrays, functions, constructors, all these things. Now students, by seeing to this, you must be thinking that we have a lot of coding here to do. No, it's not like that. Okay, you have minimal coding. Only thing is we just need to know what functionality we are going to use, what function we are going to use. Using that, we can cause an event into your web pages. Okay, you can just say JavaScript really brings out the life in your web pages. Then unit 4 is HTML and HTML documents. Means how are we going to club them together? How are we going to integrate them together? Okay. And then finally, you have a unit 5, that is PHP. PHP is a hypertext preprocessor. You can just see it's a general purpose scripting language that can be used to develop dynamic and interactive websites. Okay. So all these things are there in your syllabus, which we will be learning. Okay. I hope you have got some idea about it, like what we are going to learn into this subject. So you have the textbooks here, Robert Sebestia and then Simon Holmes. And again, you are having HTML and CSS, design and build website by John Duckett. Then in your course outcome, see, at the end, you will have definitely learned the basic concepts of web programming. You will be able to use HTML and CSS. You will be able to implement simple applications with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then you'll be able to implement simple server-side programs using PHP. Okay, you can see students. A lot of simple word is used here. Don't think that simple is going to be very basic. It's just the beginning. That is why the word simple is used here. All right. So this is a very interesting subject, a very good subject to have it, in your bag, so that later if you want to switch to any path, a different path, you can have a hold on to this and you can move ahead. You can work onto websites. You can work or solely if you want to go ahead in JavaScript. This will be like the base. This will be laying the foundation where you can go ahead. Okay. So now let's look at some of the statistics here. 48% of people cited that the design of website is the primary factor in precisely determining the credibility of your business. Okay, 38% of your website visitors will stop engaging with your website if the website content or layout is not attractive. I hope you're trying to relate to CSS here. If the layout is not attractive. Then approximately 47% of the people expect a website page to load within 2 seconds or even less than that. The processing time should be really less. Otherwise, nobody is going to come to your website. About 64% of the total visitors of website want to see the contact information of the company on its homepage. 62% of the companies increase their sales by designing only mobile-based platforms for their websites. WordPress is one of the most popular and demanding content management systems, and its market share is 35% of all websites. So the picture behind this that I'm sharing this with you to have all of you have an idea how important website building is. Okay, now my presentation is over. I hope you got exactly what is there in the subject, and if you're really interested in this, you can opt for this subject, and we'll have a lot of fun developing the web pages. Okay, now this is one thing I wanted to tell you. You must be hearing this name a lot. Okay, full stack developer, full stack developer. What is a full stack developer? Okay, a person who has knowledge of front end as well as back end together. You know, he is known as a full stack developer who can work in both front end field and back end field. That person is known as a full stack developer. So I'm not promising you that you will become a full stack developer to this course, but yes, it can form the base for you to become a full stack developer, which is, it's an immense demand now in the industry. Okay, so you can really think about it, give a thought on it, and you can take up this subject if you found this presentation interesting. Thank you, students. Thank you all.